We always knew what the first three movies would be in our minds.
You talk about how Cole Young came up, right? Like the need to make this kind of prequel to introduce the universe to a wider audience.
And so I don't think we made the right choice, by the way. And that's why we've done our best to correct it.
But maybe which was like the strongest feedback for the first movie that you received from fans and that now we're gonna see in this second installment?
We have enough now, people that have seen the first movie, didn't reject it, that enjoyed it. And so we were given the opportunity to make the sequel, and then we for sure were not going to make the same mistake again. So they gave us more resources to make the movie the way the movie should be made. I would be irresponsible as a producer if I didn't listen to the fans, because we're making this movie for the fans.
Mi gente, bienvenidos al canal, les saluda el Capitán Dante y el día de hoy tuvimos una entrevista con Todd Garner, el productor de las películas live action modernas de Mortal Kombat, la del 2021 y la que está por estrenarse este 24 de octubre. Y todo esto es gracias a ustedes, así que les traigo un video cargado de muy interesante información sobre el desarrollo de la primera y la segunda película, por qué se tomaron ciertas decisiones que han corregido respecto a la primera entrega. No les adelanto más. Pónganse cómodos, preparen algo de comer, algo de beber y disfruten del video.
Entering indeed, YouTube mode. So people, here we are with Mr. Lord Todd Garner, producer of many films in Hollywood, but most recently producer of the last two modern films of Mortal Kombat. And he gave us this opportunity to have him here with us today to talk about his experience in the Mortal Kombat movie and some chit chat that I'm sure is gonna be very fun for today. But first of all, how are you, Mr. Garner? Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Nice to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. I'm very excited to have you here today. So let's get started, right? So how first did you discover the Mortal Kombat saga? Did you play any game? It was maybe the first movie. How you discovered the saga?
The first time I ever discovered Mortal Kombat was in a video arcade in a 7-Eleven in the San Fernando Valley, in the city of San Fernando. That's where I grew up. We would skate board all day, hang out in the 7-Eleven, and there were three games side by side: Mortal Kombat, Donkey Kong, and Centipede.
All right.
And so you'd put your quarter down along a row and you'd cycle through those three games, and Mortal Kombat was by far my favorite. And then later on, a good friend of mine by the name of Mike DeLuca, he had the good fortune being at the movie studio New Line when they made the first movie.
Oh, wow.
And now he is the chairman of Warner Brothers and is my boss on this movie.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's come full circle. And I first got involved with this version of Mortal Kombat because I had made a number of movies at New Line, and Richard Brenner, who is the chairman of New Line, he was gracious enough to see if I wanted to partner with him and David Neustadter to try and bring this new iteration to the screen.
Oh my God, that really is a full circle story, right? Like first one here with your body, like playing with colors back in the machine, 7-Eleven, I mean, right? And now it's just like on the top of the project, right? So going back to those first times in the 7-Eleven, like playing with your colors, which was your favorite Mortal Kombat character? Why? Maybe his design, their story?
Yeah. The story, it's interesting. Back then, when you just had these standalone video games, you didn't really delve too much into the story. It was really about the design. And my two go-to characters were always Sub-Zero or Baraka.
Oh my God, Zero and Baraka! Wow, I didn't saw that coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. I like the moves. And you know, when we were kids, it wasn't like modern day video games where you could practice all the time and really go on the internet, find the cheat codes, know all the games, go through the different levels. So basically, everybody just basically did the split where it just, leg sweep, leg sweep, leg sweep, just, and that was everybody's go-to move at the time, which is why we put that in the first movie. Richard Brenner said, you got to put that in the first move in 2001 movie. I'm sorry, 2021 movie. You got to put that in the movie. So that's why during the training, he just keeps doing the leg
sweep. Just sweeps everybody. And he's like, wait, you're cheating. Like, like, awesome. I think there's this next question you can answer earlier, but how did the opportunity to produce the Mortal Kombat movie in 2021 arise, right? But you talk about your friend and how that came up to be a part of the project. But do you think it was like the right time? Yeah, I think it was about time. But what do you think about like bringing again this saga to the modern era in the cinema? I mean.
Yeah, it had been so long, and the video game was going through its own transitions. NetherRealm was selling to, which is Ed Boon's company, was selling to Warner Brothers, and we should have, but we didn't really know what the audience would really want. I mean, obviously, we knew the audience would want a tournament, and we thought about it, and we all came to the conclusion that we were worried that not enough people knew what Mortal Kombat was. So our idea going into the movie was to try to create, for lack of a better word, an origin story of the movie, which is actually really a prequel. And in that, one of the decisions we made, which what we know now wasn't the right decision, was to create a new character to follow into the movie in case you had never played the game. Because at the end of the day, we want to start with the fans, but also broaden it out to a bigger audience. So we were concerned that if we jumped right into the tournament, people might not know what was happening. That was probably not the best decision. And so we created this new character and created almost like a prequel to get people to understand what the world was, who the characters were. Because it is an odd thing if you've never played the game. It's an odd thing to have like a soldier and a monster and like a ninja and a god and an actor. And so we didn't want it to just be like, here it is, and kind of the way that it had been done before. And so we made the movie, and then the pandemic hit, and so we never really got a chance to really hone in on what the fans wanted, because we were so disconnected from the movie at that time with the pandemic. The movie was in Australia editing, and so we put it out, and it did way more than Warner Brothers even hoped. And then we always knew what the first 3 movies would be in our minds. We didn't count on it, but we always had a general idea of where we were headed. And the thing about making movies, especially if you're trying to create a franchise that's going to be long lasting, you can't throw everything out in one movie, because then you run out of things to do, although there are so many characters in Mortal Kombat, and there's so much canon in Mortal Kombat, but there's also huge expectations of which characters will come first. So we always knew the second movie was going to be the tournament, and always knew that Johnny Cage would be in the second movie. So we were just praying that we got the opportunity to get there. And then the great thing about the internet, which is sometimes not the best thing, is that the fans were very eager to tell us what we got wrong and what we got right. And that really was helpful for us to say, okay, these things we got right, and these things we got wrong. Don't do what we did wrong and do more of what we did right. And I'm sure in this movie there will be things that people will love and think it's the perfect thing, and I'm sure there will be some fans will be like, oh, you got this wrong because I really wanted this. That's always going to be the case, because there's so many characters and there's so many expectations. Well, there's also so many stories, and over the 30 years that NetherRealm has been making this incredible game, the stories have changed, the canon has
Yeah,
changed,
can
characters have
change.
changed, things have changed, alliances have changed and formed, and so you have to make decisions as you're going forward. And we hope and we think that this movie did a heck of a lot better than the last one. And again, for me and for the studio, our main goal is to make each movie as best we can, and then if we get a chance to make another one, make it better than the last one. That's our goal. And
That's
so I
awesome.
know we made a better movie in this movie than the last one because, honestly, of all the fan feedback and Ed Boon now being more engaged because NetherRealm is now part of it, part of Warner Brothers, and he was more engaged when we made the first movie. They were going through the sale, and he was completely distracted, doing a movie of his own, doing a game of his own. We didn't get enough time with him, which I regret. But now we have him. We got a lot of time with him. Really got to pick his brain and John Tobias's brain,
All right.
and hopefully the fans will be very happy.
The whole environment has changed since the first movie, right? The pandemic, the games, the stories, everything. Like you as a team had to deal with all of that. But I can really tell like the passion, your engagement with fans, with feedback, with everything that has been going on through all this time. And that's why I really wanted to have this interview with you. I knew you were the right person to get all the answers. So you have many interpretations of Mortal Kombat, right? And even in the main saga, they recognize the existence of several universes, timelines, plots. But is there a particular game or timeline that inspires the most this second part?
Yeah, I think probably the foundation of this movie is Mortal Kombat 2. I
Perfect.
think just foundationally in terms of the idea of the movie, the main heartbeat of the movie is Mortal Kombat 2. And you're right. There's been many interpretations, and at points we do borrow from other games and things like that where it feels more appropriate. But yeah, there's so many different plots and so many different interpretations that hopefully over a number of years I'll get to explore a lot more of those. But we
That's
never,
awesome.
like I said, we never count on that. So we're always just trying to do the best version we can, but also know that we have budget, we have time constraints,
Exactly.
we have to make a movie. Even a game is different because you can animate it differently. You can pivot if something's not working. Once you leave a location, it's very hard
Go back
to
there.
go back. Yeah. So we realize that we have to commit to these decisions and do the best we can, and hopefully we've made the right choices in this movie.
Yeah, perfect, Mr. Garner. Like you said, I bet you wish you could make like Mortal Kombat Armageddon and just bring all the characters and everything that people want. But you have a budget, you have decisions to make about locations, about characters, about actors that are gonna play those characters and that are gonna get paid. Everything like it's not easy. The production team, everything that you do with your team and with the fans' expectation on top, oof, is a huge job, and I'm certain that you're doing it with passion in this second movie.
Yeah, and I think
But
what fans also have to realize is in a video game, the whole thing is animated. Granted, some characters look humanoid and some characters look like monsters or different looks. Those looks cost the same amount in a video game.
yeah, you're
In
right.
real life, CG is very expensive.
Expensive. It's very expensive.
So we don't have the budget of Marvel yet. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever will, but we don't have that budget. So we can't have a fully CG character running the entire amount of the movie. That's just not feasible for Mortal Kombat right now. And so we have to be very judicious about where we spend that money. And I know people, wish that some of those CG characters were in the movie longer or had a bigger role. It's just very expensive and hard at this point to include those characters for any length of time. And again, it's also very hard to sometimes make without CG. Some of the CG characters that we're choosing to use more traditional prosthetics and makeup to look exactly like the video game character, which, by the way, over the course of 30 years, all have evolved. They've all changed their look, and I don't blame anybody. I completely understand. Fans have their favorite look of different characters, and they want their character to look like the character they want it to look like. But there's so many different options. It's impossible. There's no way to do it. You have to pick, and so there's always going to be people that are being, darn it, that or worse. That character didn't look like the character I wanted that wanted that character to look like.
Yeah, I completely understand. Like, I assume Baraka was a big challenge to bring to this movie, but I really think you make a good job. But like, again, I can tell, oh my God, I wish Liu Kang was Shaolin Monk Liu Kang. Another was like, no, why did you choose like MK2 Liu Kang? And so on.
And you know what's interesting that you mentioned Baraka? There's a couple characters that have been knocked from the trailer of not looking the way the fans wanted them to look, and in honestly, in the it's either 6 or 7 test screenings that we did, not once did a character's appearance come up in testing. Because when you're in the movie and you're watching it, you go, oh, that's the character, and you watch the character, and if the character works in the storyline and works in the plot, you're satisfied. When you're at home watching a trailer and you're frame freezing it, and you're really sitting there and analyzing or just your first appearance of that character doesn't look the way I thought the character was going to look. What the hell?
Yeah.
In over the course of the movie, Baraka is one of the favorite characters in this movie. There is I won't give it away, but there is a sequence in this movie that I am not kidding gets a standing ovation.
Oh wow!
And Baraka's in it, and so. The character's look was never an issue. No one ever said, "Oh, I loved that scene," but the trailer and the freeze, the shots, the posters are different than when you experience something in the movie.
In motion.
You experience it in the course of the story. Yeah,
exactly. Perfect. So now that we are talking about characters, you did mention this again a little while ago, but you talk about how Called Young came up, right? Like the need, like, to make this kind of prequel to introduce the universe to a wider audience. But and you told us, we make this character to kind of connect with the public, to put him in a position where he doesn't know what's going on, the public doesn't know what's going on, so they learn together, right? So, but why was the need, like, to create a new character instead of using one existing? Like, for example, I think Johnny Cage is going through the same process in this movie, right?
Yeah, you're right. We worried about different process in that what Cole did was also bring in the Hanzo Bihan story, and so his story tied into their story, which allowed us to open the movie with that story and pull it forward. The problem we were having with Johnny Cage in the first movie is, again, you have these two warring clans, a betrayal, then they're transformed into these supernatural characters, and then an actor who is cocky from the 90s.
That disconnection.
It just felt like, again, we might be making our problem worse by having, and there's this 90s character. Oh, and by the way, this is why. And da-da-da-da. And so I don't think we made the right choice, by the way. And that's why we've done our best to correct it. At the time, we thought it might be better to connect that story to the Scorpion Sub-Zero story and tie that story together so that we can move forward with people understanding the Sub-Zero Scorpion vendetta going forward. we could have done that, and Johnny Cage could have observed it. He wasn't really a part of it, and our worry was that having an actor from the '90s suddenly thrust into this story might have made the problem worse. It probably wouldn't have, but at that time in the thinking, because don't forget, we made that movie in 2020. We started developing it in 2015.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I saw some. The internet is a good thing and a bad thing, and I remember that I saw like those kind of leaked is pre-alpha scripts from a Mortal Kombat movie, and there was like I think the idea is to bring a new character that's more related to MMA, but they want to tie it to Scorpion. I said like, well, I read 100 of these a day, so we're gonna see in a year or two. And when the movie came out, yeah, like I understand, like maybe the intention of Cole is like to bring these wider narratives to help them understand what's going on and to tie him with the story of Scorpion, because you don't have that connection with Johnny Cage. But now, you say that maybe that wasn't the best choice, but wow, actually, like the first movie made such a great impact, right? That
Well, it did. I mean, what we didn't know, we didn't anticipate how strong and loyal that fan base was,
yeah,
reaching back to when I was putting quarters on that game. Look, when I was putting quarters on that game, I didn't know who the characters were, their backstories, or all the stuff that everybody's so immersed in now because the games are so immersive now. So my generation has a different perspective of Mortal Kombat than the
yeah,
current generation that gets
totally.
so involved in the story. And Ed and John have done such a great job in captivating the fans throughout the years in terms of their stories and their backstories and the canon. And so, again, I completely understand that the hardcore fans are like, well, we didn't need that. That was ridiculous. Why did you do that? But we we have enough now people that have seen the first movie, didn't reject it, that enjoyed it, and so we were given the opportunity to make the sequel, and then we for sure were not going to make the same mistake again. And so we now were allowed to bring Johnny Cage in. He's from the '90s. He's he didn't take a time machine.
Yeah.
He was an actor in the '90s, and now we can tell that story in a really fun way that just allows that story to be told, knowing that the biggest rivalry in the game is out there, and that story has to also be a part of our story. And so we were able to do that much more freely, and we always knew we were going to do that, but there was some adjustments obviously made once we saw the audience reaction to the first movie. And I would be irresponsible as a producer if I didn't listen to the fans, because we're making this movie for the fans
Yeah.
and trying to make the most satisfying movie for the fans as possible, while understanding that there isn't just one story. There's multiple different stories, even from the same characters' perspectives.
So that also ties to a thing you also mentioned earlier. Moving on to Mortal Kombat 2, and just from watching the trailer, it seems like a much more bigger production and with more resources, and in general, like you said, both NRS and WB seem much more excited and supportive of this second installment. You already told that there was a disconnection between Ed and due to the merging in the first movie, but maybe there was a paradigm shift in the studio about this project to support it more. Maybe because of the success of the first movie, because, like you said, maybe you didn't thought it was gonna blow out that much, and the studio maybe didn't think it either. But I remember like this, the movie came out, the most watched movie ever on HBO Max, and it was like, wow, like you said, maybe we should have realized, but people really like Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah. Well, multiple things happened at the same time. One, yes, everything you just said is absolutely true. Two, even further back, the regime before this current regime didn't have the information to give us to give them the confidence that they should give us a big budget to go make this movie. They didn't know what they had. And so
Right.
so for example, we had a big sequence with rain that we couldn't do because it was all CG and we didn't have the money. So we had to take it out. We were in that fighting pit, which I hated that thing, for almost the whole movie because we didn't have the resources to make it bigger. We just didn't. They didn't give us enough money to make the movie in a way that could go outside of that fighting pit for very long. So the movie came out, did well, so they have that information. Secondarily, like I said, Mike DeLuca, who made the first movie in '95, is now the chairman of the studio with Pam Abdi. He knew specifically, because he had worked on the first movie, what they had. He's a giant Mortal Kombat fan. Also, the new regime had the data, and they believed in the movie way more because they had all this data and all this personal history with it. So they gave us more resources to make the movie the way the movie should be made. Richard Brenner, myself, David Neustadter, who have been there the whole time, have always wanted to do the tournament, to do the Blue Portal, to do the pit, to do these realms. We didn't have the resources in the first movie to do that. So that's just a reality. So, and you either don't make the movie or you make the movie as best you can, and we chose the latter. So in this movie, we had more resources, more support, more enthusiasm. They knew what they had, plus we had people that really loved this franchise at the helm, and so we were able to make the movie bigger.
Oh my God, like you just said everything, right? Like I understand there are some big shifts going on right now in WB, right? Just in the movie division, in the video game division as of now, but I think it's for the best, right? And this project.
Yeah, I mean, this regime has made an incredible run this year. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi and Richard Brenner have made an incredible run of their movies, and every movie is really working, and hopefully we continue that streak.
Yeah.
And what's great about that is their decisions have been sound. They've backed their bets. They've been really freed up with their marketing. They've had fun with it. They've explored kind of interesting, fun ways to market their movies, which have worked.
Yeah.
They've allowed us to do that. We were able to release the '95 Johnny Cage trailer, and Uncaged Fury, and we released a trailer that did really, really well because we knew that this trailer would be seen a lot of times through fan reactions. So we knew that we needed to create a trailer that fans would react well to, and be cognizant we can't give away all our best stuff. That's why
exactly.
And you can't give away the fatalities. So don't even ask me, because I know you're going to try to ask me what fatalities are in the movie, and I'm not going to tell you.
Damn.
And so we can't give away those. And so we were, they allowed us to not just say it's just a traditional green band, and you're going to just do this for these movies. And that's why everybody's like, where's the trailer? Why isn't it on Fantastic Four? And because we didn't want to start with a green band. We wanted to start with that red band and show you what the tone of the movie was.
Yes,
and that we're aware of, not only are we aware of the '95 movie, we're paying homage to that movie in a lot of different ways. And there's more fun stuff that's going to come out before the movie comes out, which you'll see are going to pay homage to that movie, and pay homage to Ed, and pay homage to the game.
Oh my God. I think September is the next date for more information, right?
I'm not going to tell you that. Come on.
I almost got it. Something I highlight a lot about you, and that I'm sure fans appreciate, is your communication. Just the communication with the community, with the fans. Even from the first movie, and you talk about all the feedback, all the things that you are doing better now, and I can tell that for the first trailer. But maybe which was like the strongest feedback for the first movie that you received from fans, and that now we're gonna see in this second installment?
I think the obvious one was Cole Young. The second one was that the fights weren't cut right, and I totally agree. Again, it was during the pandemic, and I said this to Future Boy. I had not seen Mortal Kombat on the big screen until I rented an iPic theater and saw it after it was released. I had
All right.
only seen the movie on my computer. So it was hard.
Wow.
It was hard to cut the movie because we were in a vacuum. We weren't testing the movie because you couldn't test the movie
Without access.
because of the pandemic, and you couldn't have a theater with people in it. So we had an editor that came from a more traditional action editing, and
It's not the same.
and then on a small screen when you're watching it, it doesn't have the same impact that it does when you're watching it in a theater or watching it in on a television screen even. And so we overcut those fights. We did not do that this time. And sadly, it was a total detriment to the fine choreographers and the fine martial art actors that we have and their skill, because we were having them do like 20 to 40 beats of action fight choreography per take. And
Wow.
then we cut it up. They could have done 2. It was just such a waste. And we learned our lesson that, first of all, like I said, we've previewed this movie I've seen this movie on the big screen now 15 times. And we are very aware that if we're going to make these actors do a lot of choreo, don't cut the fights up too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very different, right? Like when you maybe compare like more Occidental action scenes to like more Oriental Chinese traditional films, like the shots are wider. You don't cut that much like the punches and that kind of stuff. I can see like it just in the Johnny Cage trailer, you can see like there's a big improvement.
Yeah, I mean the fight behind you is probably will be a real testament to that, because those are 2 incredible martial artists behind you.
So, like to wrap up this interview, we have a lot of wonderful information. Like you can tell, I'm a big fan as well. I have been theorizing about like the movie, the studio. It's not about like just pointing out the things that went wrong and say no, they should have done better. It's about understanding what happens. I know from the first movie that you were fans, that you were trying your best, and now I'm glad that you have the opportunity to take that to another level. And I'm very thankful for you to be with us here today answering this question. So we're gonna wrap things up. So these are small questions from our community. I know you can't answer everything like the fatalities, but let's try. Tricky
Sure.
question. What is your favorite character that doesn't appear in the movie?
In this movie currently?
Yeah.
Cabal.
Right. Good answer. Was there a scene that was particularly hard to film? Maybe a fight between characters that already show up in the trailer, or there's another particular scene, maybe the final scene, without giving too much detail, that was particularly hard to film?
They're all challenging in their own way. I think that if you're going to say the hardest part of the process is to get through the testing and be able to try things to see how far you can push things without the fans putting it on the internet.
I understand.
And that's hard because there was a couple of screenings we had to do a total absolute misdirect because there was such bad leaks that we just decided let's just do one total misdirect, and it came out on the internet and we knew, all right, good, that's out there now. That's not what happens in the movie, but that's good that now that will stick. The fans will freak out, think it's terrible, bitch and moan about it because somebody didn't honor their NDA, which is sad.
Yeah.
Because it's not helping me make the movie better if you just want to come and for your own whatever.
Your own
Just say,
agenda
oh,
in
this
front.
happened on the movie, and I don't know.
Uh,
Look, there's people that have seen the movie that have said they loved it. The movie tested very well. The audience has really responded well to it. Jeremy Slater was at a screening that he said he hadn't felt like that since he saw Avengers. I'm not saying it's the same size as Avengers, but it had that same feeling for him as a fan, which is great.
Yeah.
Jeremy Slater, who wrote it. Fans really enjoyed it. And so the fact that there were a few early screenings that we knew were going to get on the internet did get on the internet is disappointing. That disappoints me when fans do that, because I don't necessarily think they're fans. I think they're just people trying to clout chase.
By that, you can tell like the connection people have. Like, of course, Avengers is like this big cinematic event that I don't know if will be able to be replicated one day or sooner. But people just love Mortal Kombat so much that when I see Liu Kang, Kitana on the screen, I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is my Avengers. I don't care. It's not like a $1 billion movie, but those are my characters, right?
Yep.
So I know you can talk about this, but I'm gonna reformulate the question. I was gonna ask if there are more homages to classic fatalities in the movie. I'm sure they are, but you can tell me who are those, right? But maybe you can tell me from which Mortal Kombat you draw those classic fatalities. Maybe the more classic ones?
No, I'm not telling you that.
Damn it.
The fans are smart enough to figure that out. No, I'm not telling you that. You saw one fatality on screen. That's good.
Yeah, that's okay. So we're gonna have to wait until October 24th, right?
Yeah, and look, the other thing is there's a lot of fatalities I'm gonna want to do down the road, so I don't want to use all of them right now. So we have, I think, really good ones, and we have more that we still need to get to.
Perfect. That's okay. That's enough for me. So this is a more nerdy question. Cambios exist in this Mortal Kombat version, in this timeline? I mean in the movie.
I can't tell you that.
Oh my god, so maybe they will.
Everything is a maybe until you see it, and then after the movie comes out, we can have another discussion about why we did things as opposed to what we're gonna do.
Yeah, of course. And for the last question, a lot of people ask this, so I kind of reformulated in just one question. And you talked about this earlier. You then came to the movie like, well, let's write the first one, and then we are gonna see if we write the second one. No, you have like kind of an idea of what you want to make, at least in 3 films, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, things have been changing or have evolved a little bit with the feedback, with everything that's been going on, with budget that you're going to receive for each film. Mm-hmm. So you do look you see potential in future spin-offs or movies for the Mortal Kombat universe, right? Yes. Your idea is to make a saga. You have already planned a wider scope of that and just waiting for the green light, like you said?
Yeah. We, and when I say we, I mean myself and Richard Brenner and Jeremy Slater and David Neustadter know what we want to do, and we just have to make sure that they'll let us do it. But we know where we're headed. We know we have a map for the next couple. And so we'll see how that, again, once this movie comes out, we're going to have a lot of feedback of what people loved and what people didn't love. And we're going to try to do less of what people didn't love and more of what people love. And so hopefully that fits into the direction that we're headed. And if we're right and it's the right direction, then we'll go forward taking all the feedback from this movie and make the third one even better than the second two. So we have a plan, but obviously we are absolutely going to listen and continue down the path of making the best movie for the fans we possibly can.
It's a big challenge, but I'm really sure it's in the right hands right now.
Oh, thank you. Nothing means more to me, and nothing makes me happier than watching the fan reactions when people have a real good reaction to something and really, really love it, because that's all we're setting out to do.
Thanks, Mr. Garner.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much. Take care.
Mi gente, no me queda más que agradecerles una vez más porque todo esto fue gracias a ustedes. Si disfrutan de este contenido y desean apoyar al canal, un like, un comentario, una suscripción son nuestra razón de ser. Y si desean apoyarme un poco más, está el botón de Super Thanks y la oportunidad de volverse miembro del canal, ya sea para apoyarme y tener acceso a videos exclusivos, como también la posibilidad de entrenar conmigo si es que recién estás empezando tu camino del combate. Pero independientemente de eso, el hecho de que hayas llegado a esta parte del video significa mucho para mí. Los veo luego, soy el Capitán Dante y nos veremos en un próximo video.